They both ultimately became products of the Cold War, but one rose to defend the skies, while the other was turned into a means of mass destruction of the civilian population. One is capable of destroying all existing targets, however, only on paper. The other has repeatedly demonstrated its capabilities in repelling real attacks. What is the Russian vaunted last-generation air defense system S-400 really capable of? Is it really as good as they say on Russian TV? And most importantly, who would win if we compare it with its main competitor among Western air defense systems, the Patriot? As is often the case with Russian weapons, every new creation of the Kremlin's defense industry is said to have no analogs and is always the best in the world. And the S-400 Triumph system is no exception.
To date, it is the most advanced high-precision system, unparalleled in the world.
After the triumphant statements in the press, in reality, there were not so many reasons for triumph. Another unparalleled development essentially became a continuation of the S-300 line with somewhat enhanced capabilities. The main criterion in creating the air defense system was the desire to outdo the main Western competitor, the Patriot. Therefore, following the Russian tradition, they decided to go for quantity rather than quality. Unlike the American single universal missile for different targets, Kremlin engineers came up with 5 types of missiles for the S-400, some of which, however, remained on paper. But those that did see the light of day, as always, turned out to be the best.
Not the slightest bit embarrassed. We can confidently use this cliché that it has no analogs.
First and foremost, the missile has no analogs in terms of electronics. Here, the Russians have a truly authentic approach.
During the cutting process, the assembler uses her extraordinary, delicate feminine hands to feel each wire.
As expected, the Americans have fallen behind in the field of tactile technologies. There, the production of both the missile and the entire complex is automated, which is probably why, according to the Kremlin's plan, the Western air defense system was supposed to lose to the Russian creation in every aspect.
Essentially, the range is several times greater. But we have 400 kilometers, and there it's 100. What kind of percentages can we talk about here? That's the first point. The second is the type of targets that we are working against. That is, the speed at which our system operates is greater than that of the Patriot missile complex. The third point is the minimum altitude at which the complexes can operate. For the Patriot, it's about 50 or 60 meters, while ours is significantly lower.
However, instead of artificially inflating the figures, the US took a different approach. There, they rather underestimated the capabilities of their complex.
In general, it is considered long range. The radar station detects targets at a maximum possible range of approximately 200 kilometers and as high as 25 kilometers in altitude. The maximum range of the interceptor missile can reach up to approximately 100 kilometers or so.
However, in Ukraine, the Patriot has already demonstrated more effective performance than stated in the technical documentation. According to open sources, its maximum interception range is about 100 kilometers compared to 400 for the Russian complex. The maximum altitude for interception is 24 kilometers and 35 respectively. The speed of targets for interception by the Patriot is 1600 meters per second, and Russian designers have claimed that they can intercept targets flying at a speed of 4,800 meters per second, and so on. In short, by all parameters, Russia has once again outpaced its competitors.
The most reliable in the world and probably the most in-demand air defense system on the global arms market. This is a universally recognized fact.
However, this fact is only universally recognized in Russia. Let's start with the simplest thing. During the development of the S-400 in the multi-million Russia, once a giant of the Soviet automotive industry, there wasn't even a suitable chassis for this system. Its predecessor, the S-300, was transported by the Minsk tractor Emaz, but it remained in Belarus. At that time, the engineers couldn't come up with anything smarter than to decommission the S-300 complex, carry out a major overhaul of the mass vehicles, and mount their formidable air defense system on them. The most important technology of the air defense complex, the guidance system, is also more perfectly executed in the Patriot. Having won the space race against the Russians, the US adjusts its complexes from space via satellites.
It can combat everything that flies, ballistic missiles, intercontinental ballistic missiles, enemy aircraft, and enemy drones, such as these.
The Russians, on the other hand, need to launch aircraft such as fighter jets to look beyond the horizon and fire at long distances, which naturally affects reaction speed. Speaking of speed, a series of decisions, for example, from loading missiles in batches of 4 instead of individually to the automation of almost all processes, has allowed the Patriot to be significantly more effective on the battlefield, despite more modest figures in comparison tables.
The computer calculates all the targets, identifies those that are the highest priority, such as those closest or easiest to hit, or those that are about to leave the strike zone, past the meeting point, or fly by. Based on priority, the computer determines the order of elimination. As soon as the missile is launched, the channel in the computer is freed up, and the next target takes its place. The battery in the Patriot complex, for example, has 8 launches. With 4 missiles each, that's 32 missiles.
But the most eloquent indicator is not words but facts. And the facts state the following. The Patriot missile system, allegedly not adapted to destroy hypersonic missiles, has already destroyed more than a dozen Russian Kinjal missiles in Ukraine. Specifically those that are impossible to detect and not intercept, and as previously announced under shoot down. Moreover, not a single Patriot launcher has been destroyed. In fact, one was somewhat damaged, but was repaired on site within a few days. And now, let's return to the S-400. Here they are in 2015, brand new, deployed by the Russians in the temporarily occupied Crimea.
A force capable of completely destroying any uninvited guest over the peninsula, no matter the altitude. Ballistic missile, supersonic aircraft, or even a low-flying drone, and every other potential threat. At the disposal of the Crimean military is the most advanced system, unmatched anywhere in the world.
The uninvited guests turned out to be Ukrainian Neptune missiles and kamikaze drones. As a result, in just the incomplete September of 2023, the most advanced system on the peninsula was hit twice. In addition, the S-400s were destroyed in the Kherson region by artillery fire, in the Zaporizhia direction, and even on Russian territory, near the airport around Belgorod. But for the Russians, they still remain a benchmark.
They are significantly many years ahead of other launch complexes in the world.
Having shown its ineffectiveness in combating aerial threats, the best complex in the world went on to fight what it could handle. The Russians moved some systems within firing range of Ukrainian cities and have been regularly using them to shell civilians for the past 6 months. For the American Patriot, Ukraine also found new targets. However, they are legitimate and do not violate the rules of war.
We are defending, protecting Kyiv and several other locations and cities. And now, since last summer, we are also attacking. We are attacking the Russian Federation. Over the Bryansk region, 4 aircraft were shot down, 2 helicopters, 2 planes, and now 5 Patriot planes. So we are arming ourselves very seriously. Each plane costs around $50 million.
As a result of the constant relocation of Patriot launchers across Ukraine, the defense forces not only protect cities, but also assist fighters directly on the front line. It's not hard to guess who won in the confrontation between Patriot and S-400. And be sure to write in the comments if there are any chances at all for the Russian no-analogs weaponry against advanced Western technology. Like this video and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss new episodes of Arsenal.